Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. Well, things got real these last couple days. The last video, I started talking about Iran and war, and here we are. We slapped some major sanctions on Iran. I mean, we just gave them a death certificate for their GDP. We took their production from 1.5 million barrels a day down to zero, and that will be enforced May 1st, possibly May 2nd. So oil prices have gone up quite a bit over the last couple of days, but you're really going to see them increase on the 1st or 2nd. Kind of like when Saudi Arabia gets on the phone and says, hey guys, we're going to curb production. Russia said the same thing. And oil prices got a bump, $2, $3. But then when they actually fulfill it, that's when it really goes up. And so same thing here. They made the threat, they put it into law, and now they have to enforce it. And so that's what's going to happen on the 1st or 2nd. So it all started with Mike Pompeo saying, hey, actually, we deemed Iran's military as terrorist. That's never happened in the nation's history. To name a country's army as terrorist, that's never been done before. So it happened. And so I wanted to show you guys here. Iran's parliament approves bill labeling U.S. Army as terrorist. This is crazy. They labeled the world's most powerful country with the most powerful military as terrorist. They're being ridiculous, man. They sound like an ex-wife. Anyways, no offense if you're an ex-wife, but let's go here. I wanted to. So U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said Monday morning that the United States, in a bid to apply maximum pressure on Tehran, will not renew waivers that 8 countries received last November to keep buying modest amounts of Iranian oil. The surpassing move aims to drive Iran's oil exports down from the current level of 1.5 million barrels a day to zero. When Russia and Saudi Arabia curbed oil production recently, they curbed it by about 1.3 million barrels a day. They're shutting down 1.5 million barrels a day. That's incredible. To have Saudi Arabia curbing production along with Russia, and then now we're shutting down 1.5 million barrels a day. And I'm not going to, anyways, let's go back into this thing. So if you look here, Iran responds to Trump by threatening to block U.S. from important shipping routes. Okay. So the Strait Hormuz is a key strategic waterway situated between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, with about 20% of the world's oil and about a third of all petroleum shipped by sea passing through it. 30% of the world's oil supply is shipped through this channel, and so they sent their military to threaten, to support their threat. And so what do? We send in, the U.S. Navy sends a double aircraft carrier message to Iran, and so we send in our aircraft carriers to go in and protect the channel in case that Iran actually follows through with their threats. And so U.S. military, well positioned to defend Strait of Hormuz. I don't even know how to say that word. I'm American. Just kidding. If that offends anybody, I apologize. Flows following Iran threat spokesman. So anyways, there's a lot of news. Okay, and Iran is, they're not submitting to our threats. I mean, Mike Pompeo gave him a way out. He was like, look, if you guys would get your acts together we're not going to slap these sanctions on you. But now they're just making threats. And they actually made it official in law that the U.S. military is now considered terrorist in the country of Iran. That gives them the power and the law to kill U.S. military. If you set foot in Iran, they could kill you. In fact, that's probably what they're going to do. And so I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know what's going on at the highest level. I mean, they're in closed rooms and they've got security clearance that you wouldn't believe. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like CNN and act like I know exactly what's going on, because nobody really knows. But all I could go by is what is in the news. And is the news true? I don't know. I've been following oil prices since '94. And one thing I do know is that there is a lot of margin for error here. So are we gearing up for a war? Well, if you look historically with what the Bushes did, weapons of mass destruction, WMD, WMD. I mean, they start making accusations towards a country, which is exactly what Mike Pompeo did. Bush said weapons of mass destruction. Mike Pompeo said 600 dead Americans. And then he started saying that they deemed them as a terrorist threat. And then they slapped sanctions on them. Now we're sending our Navy to the southern border of Iran. So if that doesn't say, hey, guys, we're going to go to war with you, I don't know what else would. And now here's my point. I'm in the oil business. And do I like war? Well, maybe a little bit, but I don't like for people to die. I honestly I don't wish any harm upon anybody. But I do like the fact that Trump isn't afraid to use his military. But with that said, I'm in the oil business, and every time we go to war, and when the Bush was in office, I had the greatest time in my industry because oil prices were at their highest. 10 years ago today, oil prices were around $140 a barrel. And that's because we had a Bush in office. And so things are starting to gear up for that war. And Saudi Arabia is not the only war. We've got Libya. We've got other countries that can affect oil prices substantially. So oil prices have never been so unstable, but unstable on the side of oil prices could potentially go up $100 a barrel overnight. Well, when I say go up $100 a barrel, I actually meant go up to $100 a barrel. I mean, it could go up $150 to $150 a barrel. Who knows? But what I do know is that we're at $65 oil. We're not drilling a well for $12 million like the Shell guys. We're drilling for less than $1 million. And so if you're producing oil at current prices, there's a lot of money to be made. And anything beyond that is gravy. So I hope that helps you guys understand what's going on. I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. If you have any questions, feel free to call me anytime. Go to kingdomexploration.com or shoot me an email, send me a text, give me a call. Love to chat with you. Thanks.